Milling Through History presents Elizabeth Robinson Schwartz. When it comes to the history of women racers in the United States, there is one woman in particular who is oftentimes forgotten, and yet her inspiring story is one which has led to countless number of female athletes deciding to get involved with the sports of track and field. Her name was Elizabeth Robinson, later Schwartz, and her rise to fame within the racing world is one which is certainly inspirational and unique to say the least. Born on August 23, 1911 in Riverdale, Illinois, Elizabeth was attending Thornton Township High School when her running talent was discovered by her high school teacher, Charles Prince. Now, Prince had discovered that while she was running to catch a train, her speed was virtually unparalleled, and with her physique, she made a natural runner. Approaching her with the prospect of becoming a racer, he implored upon her that she had a talent that needed to be used, and that this talent could even propel her into at least college, if not even into the newly formed event known as the Olympics. On March 30th, 1928, Elizabeth won her first race, coming in second place to Helen Hilke, who was the record holder of the 100-meter dash. Just a couple months later, on June the 2nd, 1928, Elizabeth would successfully defeat Hilke and would match the world record at the time. But her victory, and even tying the record, was deemed unofficial, as the wind was blowing directly behind her, and the judges ruled she was given extra speed because of this wind. Now, while most people might feel a little dismayed by this, Elizabeth took this as an opportunity to continue to improve, and she would compete in the 1928 Olympic Games in Amsterdam. Elizabeth was the only American to compete in the 100-meter dash final, and she would win the race in 12.2 seconds, matching the world record and becoming the inaugural champion of the event. She would also become the youngest Olympian to ever win the 100-meter dash at the young age of only 17. She would also take part in the 4x100-meter relay race, where the team was able to take the silver medal. Now, following her grand debut in the Amsterdam Olympics, Elizabeth set her sights on the 32 games, namely in Los Angeles. And so, during this time, she would go to Northwestern University, hoping to earn a degree in physical education and become a coach for the women's Olympic team by 1936. Sadly, however, on June 28, 1931, Elizabeth was involved in a plane crash, and when she was found within the wreckage, many believed that she had died. Instead, she was close to death, almost in a coma, but survived. But the damage was certainly very notable. Her left leg had been crushed, and she had to have multiple surgeries just to repair it. It would take 6 months for her to be able to get out of the wheelchair, and an additional 2 years just to begin to walk normally once again. As a result, she would miss the 1932 Olympic Games, but she was determined not to let this setback hold her back. Instead of becoming a coach for the 1936 Games, Elizabeth decided to make one grand return, namely by looking at the 36 Games of Berlin as a chance to try to recapture glory one more time. Now, because of her injury, trying to run individually by herself was not necessarily the best thing to do. And so she would join the women's track team and be part of the 100-meter relay race. And this would put her in a rather difficult position, namely because Elizabeth was unable to actually kneel in the starting position at the beginning of the race. Instead, she would get into a bit of a crouch and use this as a way to begin the race. Now, the United States was already not an odds-on favorite to win as it was. The German team, being the national heroes and already trying to prove their own superiority to the rest of the world, were seen as the odds-on favorite. And yet, in most events that Germany participated in when it came to track and field, failure often resulted. And again, in this particular race, it happened once more. The Germans dropped the baton and this would allow the United States to advance past the Germans and win the gold medal in an unexpected upset. Now, following the 1936 Games, Elizabeth would retire from racing and became an official for athletics itself. Now, her athletic career, while every so often coming in to judge races or be an official, would pretty much be coming almost to a complete halt. Instead, she would just fall back into the shadows, eventually working within a hardware store. Elizabeth would get married and have 2 children of her own. In 1977, she was inducted into the United States National Track and Field Hall of Fame, and one of her final appearances in the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games, Elizabeth was given the honor of carrying the Olympic torch towards the opening ceremonies so that once again she could run in glory for the Olympics before her life would sadly come to an end the following year. For more information, please consider these suggested titles. Be sure to click on the left-hand side of the screen to subscribe to our show, and on the right-hand side for our latest episode. And we will see you again for the next episode of Milling Through History.